Our Yujin was the very first descendant I went after on day one release of the First Descendant. We're going to be going over his skill. We're going to be going over how to use his kit and the way I have him built out. I'm Records from Records Player Gaming. Let's get started. All right, what I want to do is feature a comment from my last video here. Now, if you want your comment to be featured in our next video, leave a comment on this video and I will choose one random comment to be featured in our next video. All right, this video is going to be kind of long because it's my guide on Yujin right now, currently speaking. Now, a couple things going off right away. One, if you watch the trailer specifically for this character, they specifically say Yujin, okay? Now, if you don't believe me, you can watch their trailer specifically for this character. They say Yujin. Now, there's a lot of people who would say it's actually Yujin. Just want to let you guys know there's a couple ways to definitely how people would say it. But either way, you're going to hear me say both ways in this video. You kind of understand I'm talking about this character specifically. So you're going to hear Yujin and you're going to hear Yujin. So just to let you guys know off the rip specifically off that. Next, what we're going to be going in this video is how to build him. We're going to understand his kit and his skills, mods, the way I have my currently built out, and giving you my overall review specifically of this character. A couple things to keep in mind, little caveats, is one, we will not be going over ultimate weapons specifically for Yujin. There is a lot of weapons you could use. Originally, I wanted to use a weapon called Divine Punishment. There is a certain way you can use Divine Punishment that will give you a faster cooldown, and he will actually benefit from that. But you're going to see a reason later why I don't specifically use that. There's other weapons you can use. There's weapons that you can give your allies a shield. So there's other ways you can actually use. So ultimate weapons will not be discussed here. You can adjust that according to your playstyle and how you want to specifically use your character. Now, why I chose him specifically. I wanted to get a character no matter what. I was going to buy a character so I can enjoy, besides the starter character you're going to start off with. I originally wanted Valby, but because in August there's going to be an update to give us ultimate Valby, I figured, you know what, I'm not going to go out my way right now to get Valby. I'm actually going to focus on a character that won't have an ultimate come up very soon. So Yujin is a character that's fairly brand new. He wasn't in beta at all, and I don't see them dropping an ultimate anytime soon because he's fairly new, and a lot of his materials and parts are more towards the end game. So it was really tough to get him specifically. So that made it easier for me to say, you know what? It's hard to get his parts and his materials, and on top of that, I don't see an ultimate dropping very soon. So he's a safe bet to invest into him specifically. On top of that, there are only two kind of healers in the game. One of them is Jaybird, and Jaybird heals off of a medical turret that stays within a certain range. Yujin, depending on how you have him built out, his kit is only to heal. So his main role is your support healer. Now, all my guys that I'm going to be putting out, I'm going to make sure I emphasize this. Very important. You can see all the mods that are available in the game and where to farm them specifically. Very helpful for when you're looking for a specific mod to make your descendant better. You can actually search specific things that you're looking for to help you, or if you're looking for a specific descendant mod you want to look for as well. So let me go ahead and show that to you. So if you are on PlayStation, you can just hit the touchpad. If you are on PC, I believe it's G. And what you're going to go over is you're going to go over one to access info. You're going to see where it says module, and you're going to click on that. Now you see all the mods that are available. Weapons, descendant, everything is here specifically. So you can see all the right now to the right. You're gonna see all right now. This is all the descendant mods. All the ones that are red are all special skill descendant mods. Now, if you wanted to, you can search here specifically. Let's say you want to look for MP for your energy. So you go here, and then this is all the stuff you have for your energy. But now let's just say you're looking specifically. This is for weapons too, right? What if you want to just look for a descendant specifically? You go here and filter it out. Now everything MP related is here specifically. All right, I wanted to show you guys Yujin's skill. Okay, now these are all the skills. Now they will change according to whatever mods you decide to have, descendant mods specifically. I'm going to show you guys the basic ones. We're going to then go over the modules that you could add to him specifically to change up his builds. And I'm going to show you the very first one that I got and how amazing it's been and how it changes how he plays just by having that mod specifically. So going over skill one is solidarity healing. What it does is it allows you to attach a drone to your ally. The further you are from your teammate, you will start getting these alerts as you see on the little Windows display. You would be able to attach. You're in green, that means you're good. If you're in yellow, you're not going to be in a good spot. You're actually losing connection. And red, you're on the cusp of losing that connection. So you want to make sure you're always nearby your allies, which makes it really tough if you have a team that's always spread out. Especially, you're going to see footage I have of a couple bunnies that I had to kind of just keep throwing heals out just in case. That it wasn't the greatest specifically to have the drone, but when you first start off, the drone, you have to be close by to make it work. Now, unfortunately, it does have a cooldown of 40 seconds, so it takes a long time for you to actually get that cooldown back onto the actual drone. Keep in mind, if you sever that connection, you start that cooldown right there and then. So it takes a long time. So if you want to, you can start building. I'm going to show you the mods later, but cooldown is very important specifically for this. But if you're working with this specific build, the basic Yujin build, what thing you want to keep in mind with skill 1 being basic right now, no modification to skill 1, and with no changes to your mod on skill 1 to change it to something else, you're going to have to work on duration. Duration is going to be very important for this because it's going to help keep that drone out as much as possible. And you're also going to work on cooldown. The faster the cooldown, the better. As you see, I have 40 seconds for that cooldown on skill 1. We were able to bring it down to 24. Now, you could bring it down even further, but the way I currently have my build specifically for the mod that I'm going to show you, I don't need to go any more faster than what I am. But pretty much almost half of that cooldown is already taking place with what I currently have. So just letting you guys know, you do need to keep in mind if you're using this drone that you need to probably look into cooldown and you need to look into duration. With also on top of that, you're going to be looking at target's max HP. So you want to be able to have good HP to be able to help out. Now we're going to move on to the second one. The second one is very interesting. This one's called Restructure Serum. And so what happens is you would throw this bullet of serum in a certain location. If it hits the wall, it does not help you. If it hits the floor, it doesn't help you. But if you hit an ad or a mini boss, that target and nearby targets would also be affected by this green looking like thing. Is not poison, but as you see, it's like a green musk around them. If you shoot, and it's specifically you as a Yujin character, if you shoot them, nearby allies, including yourself, will be able to get healed from that. Okay? But they have to be within a certain range. It can't be so far they're not going to be able to heal. So if your nearby allies are near you and they're starting to lose health, you can hit an enemy with skill 2, you'll be able to actually start doing damage. And if you end up killing that target, you do even further healing, which is very important. In a scenario where you have everything off a cooldown, this is when it's very important, especially when, again, if you are close quarters with your allies, this is going to be one of your best uses besides your ultimate to really help you out with heals. Because again, it will be able to heal multiple allies versus just one ally with the drone. Unfortunately, I was able to test this with a few different bosses, and I mean the void bosses specifically I tested. It doesn't seem to work with them specifically. If you throw the serum right at the boss and start to attack and your allies are nearby, you don't for some reason take heals or even get healed yourself. I don't know if that is a bug. I'm hoping it is a bug because that would be very helpful for his kit to make sure that it actually works. Because in a scenario where you're doing a void boss, if you're near an ally and you can just throw that serum out there at the boss, anyone nearby you is going to be able to get healed. And that's one of the quickest ways. Again, a lot of times you're getting in close quarters. Sometimes with void intercept battles, you're going to be in close quarters sometimes. With that being said, that allows you to get some heals to your allies, but for some reason with void bosses, it doesn't seem to work. With everyone else, I seem to have that serum to work correctly. So I don't know if it's a bug. I will try to see if I can reach out to them about this specifically. I think it is a bug, but I could be wrong. It might not work for it. So just letting you guys know, if you happen to use skill 2 on void bosses, that would not help you. So just letting you know. Now, skill 3. Now, I specifically put a cut in the beginning of the video to show you how skill 3 kind of works. It's very weird, and I'm going to try to explain when the best time I try to use this. So skill 3 allows you to, what it says, grant simulations to you and nearby allies, and then your allies will receive healing proportional to the number of times they were hit with simulation ends. So the best way to describe what this does is, the best way to describe and give you a scenario is when you're about to take a lot of hits and your shield is about to break. This is a perfect time to activate this. What you do is, as you get closer to that shield break and it breaks, instantly drop this. What that does is, for a short duration of time, and I mean very, very, very short duration of time, you're going to take a little bit less damage. Like it says here, 25% less damage. But in a short period of time, not even 10 seconds. Honestly, I think it's probably a little less than that. But I had the duration a little higher, just because as you start to level up Yujin, you get the duration to be a little higher with certain stats. It does feel like it's very short. To me, it feels like 5-6 seconds. You're going to see a video footage of that being replayed over and over. But you're going to see me activate it as my shield breaks. And you start to see the health go down a little bit. And then you see, whoop, some heals. And that is specifically this skill doing its job. That is the best time specifically to use this specific skill. Now, if you are within a certain ally range, you can activate that if you want. Again, if people don't have shields, this is also really good for those waves after wave after waves, and the wave tend to spawn exactly where you are currently at. If your allies are pretty much close by and you know you're about to get into a heavy duty wave, you can activate this almost immediately, because you know with that heavy duty wave, you're going to break that shield pretty quickly. They're going to break your shield pretty quickly, and you're going to need that healed quick as possible. So that's the best way to describe what this does. You reduce some of the damage, and then you get some heals equal to the amount of attacks you are getting hit. Again, if you don't get hit, you don't get any healing. But again, just the fact that you know when your shield is starting to break and you still got a lot more ads to worry about, then you activate this because you know that shield's about to break, and then any damage you keep taking, you're going to be able to see that healing take effect. Skill 4 is Hyperreactive Healing Grounds. Now, I'm going to describe and show you the best way, and also I'm going to show you how much it actually heals. If you add specific mods to help with HP recovery, that's going to be even bigger. Heals that you're going to get. There is a bug going around with 4. I don't know why it happens. I'm going to try to see if I can put a little video of it. For some reason or another, it tends to freeze you, and then if you get frozen, you can't do nothing of no shooting weapons, no grappling, no skills, and you're stuck in this weird position. So the way it works is you activate, as you see in the little window, you activate this, and what happens is you take a little less damage, but what you do is you see what the range is going to be. And if you're within a certain range, you can then activate the skill again. After you see the circle, you're in the good spot. Then you activate by hitting the trigger button. And now everyone will get all the debuffs that were on them removed. And you get a good chunk of healing as well. And you can see the range of it specifically. But there is a bug going around where you would enter the state of where you see the circle. But then for some reason or another, if you try to activate it really quickly, you will no longer see the circle, but you will still be in that weird state where you can't do nothing at all. So I think it's a bug. I'm going to try to reach out to some mods and see if I can show them as a bug, and hopefully we get some support specifically to correct this issue. But right now, if you were to use skill 4, I would recommend you to wait a second or two and then trigger it. don't try to be as quick as possible doing it, so you don't get into that hiccup right now. Again, this video might be corrected when that bug gets fixed specifically, but I would say still give it a second, wait for you to see the actual radius, and then trigger the button to go ahead and activate the healing. But I just wanted to let you guys know specifically on that. And last but not least, I want to go over basic with Yujin is his passive. What his passive allows you to do is when you revive your fallen allies, it takes a lot less time for you to revive. I want to say within like 1.5 seconds, my teammate is back up. It's really quick. So if you have a Yujin on your team and you have an ally, try to just communicate. And I think the Yujin already knows, whoever's playing it should know that, hey, I'm gonna go pick them up because they are the fastest about picking their allies back up. And then because you get revived by Yujin, you also get what is called additional prescription, which is very interesting because you're fallen, you're sick, and you got to get better. So what it does, it actually gives you about 20% more HP above what you normally get. So you normally, when you revive, you get 100% HP, no shields. But what this would allow you to do is actually get 120% just to give you a little bit of wiggle room. This can be very helpful for those times where someone is in a toxic area and they're on the floor and they're getting on that can help you get it might just be able to get you enough so you don't fall back down again. That could be very helpful, that additional 20%. So not only do you get to pick up your allies quicker, but you also get, again, that buff of 20 extra HP on top of that, which is really, really solid. Again, if you want to specifically search for a skill, skill cooldown, MP, HP, defense, skill power, whatever you want to search, you can find it here. But what's really good is if you're looking for a character specifically. So let's say you're looking for Yujin. Now we're going to pop up this. Now there are 4 mods that you can get for Yujin. Now what's really cool about the way I'm thinking about keeping my Yujin is, if you see here, there are 3 specific mods you can get for Yujin. And with that being said, 3 out of the 4 are all the exact same socket. They're all the malachite, which is very interesting. So if I wanted to keep the cost down really low for it, I could possibly do that by putting a crystallization specifically on that specific slot for him. But you can see all the mods specifically for this character and where you can actually get them. So like for an example, first aid kit. If you touch the actual mod, you hit search, and then it would actually show you all the locations that you can actually get this mod specifically. Learn from my mistake, please. Don't farm the asylum. The asylum does show that it is featured, but just because it's featured doesn't mean that's the best way to get it. I would keep looking at all these other side missions and see if it will drop randomly for you. Again, I spent 14 hours at the asylum farming it, and that is no joke. If you want to look back at my live feed, you will see me farm this for 14 hours, and I could not get this drop, and I ended up getting it down the line from a regular drop from a patrol mission. So just keep that in mind. But you can farm it, you can see where to go and get the mod if you needed to. The next mod I wanted to show you guys is for Yujin is this mod right here. Now this mod is very interesting. This is one of the only mods that would actually change his kit to actually do damage on his skill. Now, this mod, as you see here, says inflicts explosive reaction effect. So instead of that serum giving a chance for you to heal when you hit that target, now instead it would actually be a damage dealing skill. So you do damage to nearby enemies when the effect ends or when the enemy dies. So again, within that 5 to 10 seconds, you're gonna see damage done, and if the enemy dies, it even helps keep it going, which is very interesting. It's giving me that that Freyna vibe a little bit, because again, it says inflict the same effect to nearby enemies when enemies die. So if more enemies are nearby and you put this in a group, and then one dies, and it just keeps going and spreading, which is very interesting. Like I said, it gives me that Freyna vibe a little bit. Now, the next mod I want to go over is Duty and Sacrifice. This mod is very interesting. So this mod would take over your ultimate specific skill. Now, you when you activate your ultimate, you would get a fixed amount of heals based off your HP when you activate it. And that's it. Quick heal, boom, done. In and out. And then you get debuff removed away for you. But by having this, you would actually get some that quick heal, but you also have heal over time. You have HP recovery per second to allies. Now you can keep the duration going with this. Again, depending on how you build him, it matters how you create it. If you want more duration, certain effects, you're going to want more duration. This can be very helpful for those times where you just need a good heal, and then you can heal over time. And as your teammates walk away, they would be able to also get healed as well. I don't have this mod, so I won't be able to test it. As we do get the mods down the line, because you're going to be able to see like how to get these mods specifically. If you go here, you'll see to get this specific mod, you can only get it from the hard version of the Pyromaniac. All right, and you have the last one I'm going to go over is Efficient Treatment. Recovers himself after using a skill to recover allies over a certain number of times. So what this does, and the icon looks like it does, it takes away your skill 3. And by taking away your skill 3, again, your skill 3 is that drone in the sky that you throw up that will take 25% less damage, and you would also get healing depending on how much damage you're taking in, and then you get healed a portion of that. Looks like it takes away that, and you activate this skill. That skill, what that does instead is in that time frame you have. So again, duration is very important specifically for this. Depending on how that duration is set up, if you heal someone else while this is active, you would also get healed yourself as well. Which again, depending on how you play your playstyle, that will depend on how you want to go about it. There's many different ways to play him, but what I do want to show you guys is this one, which is the one I skipped. First Aid Kit. This, as soon as I got it, I realized how his kit changed completely the way I was playing it. Like I was saying, most of the time I was working on duration, keeping the duration up, because I know by having the drone up, by having, the little shield up in the sky, keeping the duration up is really good. But with having First Aid Kit, I'm not focused specifically now on duration. I'm actually just mainly focused on skill cooldown to a certain point, and I'm going to describe that a little bit, why a certain point. To a certain point, skill cooldown, and then I'm working on MP recovery because I want to be able to keep dropping this as much as possible. And so what this actually does is remove that drone off of your skill 1, and now you would have this instead. You would drop a little care package, if you want to say, and with your allies or anyone grabs that, you would get healed instantly with that care package. All right, so what I now want to show you guys is my mods, the way I have it set up. And now this is why I was saying certain descriptions when you get the mod actually gives you a little bit more information specifically about it. Now again, I have First Aid Kit here. Doesn't tell you too much about it, but now that the skill has changed and now you don't have that drone here, you actually see the animation. You'll see that I'm able to bring out a care package. It drops specifically there. If I grab it, I get healed. Or if your allies grab it, they get healed. All right, so now if you look at the basic information specifically on the First Aid Kit, as you see, is a 15-second cooldown that I have it at 9 seconds. I'm going to explain why I have it specifically at 9 seconds. And then the maximum stacks is 2. Now, what that means is you can activate your skill twice if you wanted to have 2 care packages out on the field. I have my cooldown specifically at 9 seconds. I can squeeze a little bit lower and bring it down a little bit more so that's faster. But there is a cap on how many care packages you can actually bring out. No matter how fast my cooldown, which I was able to bring it down to like in the 7-second range, give or take. And I was able to have that come back very quickly. But what ends up happening, if you see in the beginning, right now, I have a clip, you're going to be able to see that no matter how many care packages you bring out, if you bring out more than 3, if you try to bring out the 4th one, it would take away the last one that you put on the field, or technically the first one you put on the field. So just keep that in mind, that you can only have 3 technically out all times. So now you don't have to have too much of a cooldown because it doesn't matter how many times you bring this out. You can only have 3 out in the field specifically. Now these care packages stay around 30 seconds, give or take. So that allows you to spam in those 15 seconds. It allows you to spam 2. And by the time you bring out the other one, you could bring a 3rd one out, and just soon after that, it's going to go away. But again, having a faster cooldown It doesn't matter. You're going to be able to have 3 out in the field at all times. You just can't go past 3. And one thing I started working on, again, is very important to have almost on all descendants, is your HP being high as possible. Because by having that HP, your recovery is max HP times 27%. So that actually helps out when you're grabbing a heal. When you're grabbing the first aid kit, you're going to get a big chunk because you have that max HP versus not having that. So it's very important. The way I have it built out is right now, just to give you a little glimpse of it, is I have maxed out nimble fingers because now that gives me 25% minus cooldown. So that's faster cooldown. I also have skill duration to keep my durations of my skills out a little bit longer. So that's why instead of 30 seconds is out in the field, my first aid kit is actually a little bit longer. That would also help as well, help my my drone that I'm throwing out on my skill 3 to stay out a little bit longer as well. So that duration keeps it going a little bit longer. But on top of that, I also have this one specifically because it also gives you HP heal percentage as well. And that does rise up as well. On top of that, I have my HP maxed out as much as possible. And I'm trying to probably do one more crystallization. I have 2 currently right now on my character. I have it set up for this slot and also this slot as well, because those are heavy duty mods, but I need to squeeze out a little bit more to be able to max out my defense, especially for endgame. You're going to want to have maxed out defense and maxed out HP as well. What else I am using also is energy collection. This would have been taking over if I could use MP collector, because MP collector, what it allows me to do is when I defeat an ally, or correction, when I defeat an enemy, I would actually start recovering some MP. That's why this would be really good if I can use that mod, but I can't for some reason use that mod, so I have to use MP recovery. What that allows me to do is when I get some energy from an orb, it actually gives me a big chunk back, which is a really solid bet. Because as you keep using your first aid kit, you're going to be burning through your skill if you keep popping these over and over and over, which is very important, because when you have one of those moments where everything hits the fan, you need to be able to pop your 3 to give you a little bit of immunity and get ready to do an instant heal with your ultimate. So that's important, and you're going to start seeing some gameplay of that as well, why I have it set up this way. Like, again, when I need to pick up an ally and they're down, I pop my skill 3 and then I pop my ultimate as soon as they get up, because I'm going to need heals. Now, they already have heals, but they're going to probably, with no shields, start taking damage, and I'm going to be able to heal them instantly as well. So having MP recovery is very good. I would like to have MP collector, but for right now, I can't use that. So getting as much MP I can is going to be very important. Another mod I have set up is time distribution. This again will give you lower cooldown and higher HP as well. Like I said, I'm trying to get as much HP as possible to keep that recovery really solid. So by having that cooldown, again, I'm bringing it down as low as possible to now I'm at that threshold for my first aid kit specifically. So this mod is actually really solid for it. And I'm also using polygenic antibody, what gives me all attribute resistance. So if I'm fighting toxic, if I'm fighting electricity, heat, whatever I'm fighting, I have some resistance to it. So I'm not taking as much damage as I should. So again, this is very important, especially if you're doing void battles and you obviously before you go into, what you're going to go get yourself into, but this can be very helpful to just keep that edge where you can cover yourself on all attributes specifically. So is he user friendly? Yes. You just have to understand how to use his kit. If you was not using first aid kit, what I will focus more specifically on, maybe a little less cooldown, I would focus more on duration. By having that duration allows you to keep whatever mod or whatever skill you're going to be using to allow it to stay a little bit longer. So for instance, if you use just a drone instead of the first aid kit, keeping that duration on a specific ally to help heal them, really solid. But again, you might have to lose a little bit of cooldown to be able to have that duration stay on there longer. Duration will also, like I said, help you on skill 3, where you have a little bit of damage immunity because you activated it with having higher duration. So if I was not using first aid kit, I will probably work on duration a little bit more to keep that uptime on my durations of my skills on there. But again, depending on how your playstyle is, I prefer a faster cooldown where now I pretty much hit the cusp of where I am at, specifically with first aid kit, and now I can work on everything else that goes along with that. Pretty much it. I wanted to kind of put this video out as quick as possible because a lot of people have asked me, like I said, on live streams, comments of other videos, even some other content creators, how do I personally play with Yujin and how am I liking him? And I wanted to showcase this because, like I said, when I got the mod, it makes it a whole lot different. It's a little bit more challenging if you have it with no specific descendant mod specifically attached to him. As we get more, I will be adding possibly another video specifically. The next mod that I really care for Yujin, it would be probably the skill damage one to see what the actual damage he can actually do. So if and when I do get that mod, please be on the lookout for an update video of that specific mod and see how it actually does. If the damage is actually really good, then I would do a video on how this guy can possibly do healing, support, and on top of that, do some good solid damage. And that's pretty much it. Hopefully you guys liked this video. Took me some time to make the video because, again, I've been farming for this mod. Please learn from my mistake. Don't do what I did. You can get the mod eventually. The ones that specifically say that you can only get in the void battle, that you can farm all the time for. But the ones that are out in the open, don't stay in one specific spot. Hopefully you got something out of this. If you got any information that you enjoyed out of this video, something that you learned in this video, please hit the thumbs up, leave a comment down below. And also please share this video so that other people who might want to be interested in playing Yujin, that they have a chance to actually play if they want to be in that role of healer. Not a lot of people want to be in that healer role. Now, one thing I have been asked before personally is, with the way the First Descendant game is, do you really need a healer if you just, have max HP, have max defense, and you're able to destroy everything? In Void Intercept Battle specifically, there's not that many ads, and depending on what Void Intercept Battle, you won't have almost barely no ads. And you have RNG to get health to actually drop. So in those scenarios, I think it might be a little bit more important to have a healer. If you can have a Yujin that can actually do good solid damage with his guns, and he has his guns built out, I think Yujin can be really solid on those specific end game content. And on top of that, we are supposed to be getting mega dungeons, so I'm curious what that is going to entail. It's probably going to be a little bit harder content. With that being said, possibly a healer might be needed. So again, I'm going to wait until I get that other mod to see how good that damage can be, because if it's a really good damage dealing mod to have for him, then I'm going to see about making a build specifically for him, and then I'll make a video to show you guys how good he is with that. But again, comment, like, and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.